In the world of books, there are storytellers, and then there are world builders. Every once in a while, an author doesn't just build a world, they create a universe millions want to live in. Sarah J. Maas is one of those authors, a true titan of modern publishing, a name whispered with reverence in bookstores and online communities. Her stories are more than just books, they are gateways to sprawling lands of magic, danger, and breathtaking romance. This is how one woman's imagination built a kingdom. It starts not in a fantasy realm, but in a real city, with a young girl who loved fairy tales. From a teenager writing fan fiction in her bedroom, to one of the best-selling fantasy authors alive today. From a determined young writer facing rejection to a global phenomenon with tens of millions of copies sold. Her success changed her life and reshaped publishing, carving out a powerful space for fantasy and passionate romance, Romantasy. Join us as we uncover Sarah J. Maas's untold story, from earliest dreams of magic to her reign as the undisputed queen of Romantasy. Sarah J. Maas was born in 1986 in the heart of New York City. She grew up surrounded by the towering skyscrapers and the bustling energy of Manhattan. Yet, even in this concrete jungle, her imagination flourished. From a young age, she was a voracious reader, finding escape and adventure within the pages of books. Her childhood was filled with stories, but she was especially drawn to the timeless magic of fairy tales. She was fascinated by the tales of Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, and other heroines who faced impossible odds. But as she grew older, she started to imagine different versions of these stories. What if the heroines didn't just wait for a prince to save them? What if they were the heroes of their own stories? At 16, she began an ambitious project, a retelling of Cinderella with a powerful twist. Her heroine wasn't a mistreated servant girl waiting for a fairy godmother. Instead, she was a deadly assassin. A survivor forced to compete for her freedom in a corrupt king's court. She didn't wait for a publisher. Instead, she turned to the internet, posting chapter by chapter on fictionpress.com. On that early online platform, the first sparks of her empire were ignited. Far from New York's publishing houses, a grassroots following began to grow. To turn that dream into a reality, she enrolled at Hamilton College, choosing to major in creative writing. This period was crucial for her development. It taught her how to accept feedback, how to revise with purpose, and how to defend her creative choices. After college, she began the grueling process of querying literary agents, sending out her story, and facing a slow trickle of rejections. Despite the constant stream of no, Sarah's belief in her assassin heroine never wavered. Each rejection was a disappointment, but it was not a defeat. Ultimately, the story found a home at Bloomsbury, the same house behind Harry Potter. They offered her a book deal. One of the first changes was the title. Queen of Glass became Throne of Glass, a name that hinted at royalty, power, fragility, and danger. In August of 2012, Throne of Glass finally hit bookstore shelves. The initial reception was strong. Young adult fantasy readers, who were hungry for strong female protagonists, quickly fell in love with Selena. Her resilience and inner strength made her incredibly relatable and inspiring. It wasn't an overnight bestseller, but a slow burn, gaining momentum through word of mouth. The debut of Throne of Glass was not just the launch of a single book, it was the launch of a saga. While the Throne of Glass series was growing, Sarah J. Maas was already dreaming up another world, returning to her first love, classic fairy tales. In 2015, she published A Court of Thorns and Roses. It introduced Fair Archeron, a human huntress dragged to a magical land inhabited by the deadly and immortal Fae. ACOTAR was a significant departure. It leaned much more heavily into romance, and was marketed as new adult, for readers who'd moved on from YA. This series is widely credited with launching the modern romantasy genre into the mainstream. Sarah J. Maas hadn't just written a hit series, she had kickstarted a literary movement. The passion for ACOTAR sparked an incredible outpouring of creativity from its fan base. The ACOTAR fandom became a vibrant and powerful community. But her ambition was far from satisfied. In 2020, she released House of Earth and Blood, the first book in the Crescent City series, aimed at a fully adult audience. Crescent City was a modern urban fantasy world, a unique blend of a high fantasy epic and a gritty urban crime procedural. As readers delved deeper, they began to notice subtle clues, sparking a firestorm of speculation. A grand unified theory that all of Sarah J. Maas's books take place in the same shared universe, or Maasverse. This level of intricate storytelling is the result of a legendary and disciplined drafting process, including famous cabin writing retreats and incredibly detailed outlines. Just when it seemed her popularity could not get any higher, a new force emerged: TikTok, or more specifically, BookTok. Maas's books, with their high-stakes romance and shocking plot twists, were perfectly suited to the platform. A single, raw, emotional reaction could go viral overnight. This sparked an unprecedented backlist boom. Older titles started dominating bestseller lists years after publication, as TikTok's algorithm doesn't care about release dates, only engagement. The global impact was staggering. Tens of millions of copies sold worldwide, with translations in dozens of languages, making her one of the best-selling fantasy authors alive. Her success sent powerful shockwaves through the publishing industry, fundamentally changing the landscape of fantasy fiction. The new category opened doors for a wave of fantasy romance authors like Rebecca Yarros and Jennifer L. Armentrout, as publishers began actively hunting for the next big hit. She proved that female-centered fantasy could be epic, commercially successful, and culturally significant, shattering the assumption that epic fantasy was a boys' club. Her legacy is empowerment, for readers who finally saw themselves in epic stories, and for a new generation of authors. She proved women's stories are a global force capable of building an empire. The core of her appeal lies in her characters, heroines who are broken, who have endured trauma, yet are never simply victims. They are survivors who claw back from the brink, find strength in their flaws, and learn to heal. In a world that asks women to be perfect, Maas gives permission to be beautifully, powerfully imperfect. The future is filled with endless potential, including the long-awaited television adaptations, with a series based on A Court of Thorns and Roses in development. From a New York City girl who loved fairy tales to the reigning queen of a literary empire, her worlds have become a home for millions, and her heroines have become icons of strength. Now we turn the question to you. For someone new to her worlds, which Sarah J. Maas book would you recommend they read first? Share your suggestions in the comments below. And for more stories about the authors who shape our world, be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching.